The valley went silent. Clara stared at the man standing at the front of Kane's army. He wore Samuel Bell's old black coat. The same coat Clara remembered from childhood. The same silver buttons. The same black hat. For 20 years, Clara had believed her father was dead. Now he was standing less than 100 yards away. "Father?" The man slowly removed his hat. Clara's heart stopped. It was Samuel Bell. Older. His hair was gray. A scar crossed the left side of his face. But it was him. Evelyn stepped forward. "Samuel." Samuel looked at her. "You shouldn't have come back." Evelyn raised her rifle. "You left me no choice." Kane's men surrounded the valley. Marcus Kane rode forward. "It's time." Samuel looked at him. "No." Kane's expression changed. "You promised." "I promised to protect my daughter." Kane laughed. "She isn't your daughter." Samuel looked at Clara. "She is my daughter." Kane shook his head. "Not by blood." Samuel replied. "Blood doesn't make a father." Clara stepped between them. "Enough." Everyone became silent. She looked at Samuel. "You let me believe you were dead." Samuel lowered his eyes. "Yes." "You let me believe my mother was dead." "Yes." "You knew Kane was my real father." Samuel didn't answer. Clara's voice broke. "How could you do this to me?" Samuel slowly dismounted. "Because every truth I could tell you would put you in danger. You buried me without even knowing if I was alive. I thought Kane would kill you. He almost did." Samuel looked at Kane. "That was never supposed to happen." Kane smiled. "Plans change." Clara looked at the burning town behind them. "What is Kane planning?" Samuel walked closer. "He wants the original ledger." Clara held it tightly. "Why?" "Because it doesn't only contain the names of the men who stole Black Creek." He looked at the ledger. "It contains proof that the land was never legally theirs." Clara understood. "The entire town?" Samuel nodded. "Black Creek, the surrounding ranches, the mines, all of it." Kane interrupted. "And the legal heir is standing right there." Clara looked at him. "Me?" "Yes." Kane's voice became colder. "You are the only person whose bloodline connects the original landowner to the Bell estate." Samuel stepped forward. "Kane wants you to sign the land over to him." "And if I refuse?" Kane looked toward the burning town. "Then Black Creek disappears." Clara stared at him. "You'd burn the entire town." "I've done worse." Samuel suddenly drew his revolver. Kane's men raised their rifles. Samuel shouted. "Everyone lower your weapons." Nobody moved. Then Evelyn stepped beside Samuel. For the first time in 20 years, Clara saw her parents standing together. Kane laughed. "You think the three of you can stop me?" Clara looked at Mercer. He was holding the original ledger. Then she noticed something. Behind Kane's army were dozens of frightened townspeople. Men. Women. Children. Kane had forced them into the valley. They were prisoners. Clara's expression changed. "He brought the whole town." Samuel nodded. "He wants you to surrender in front of them." Clara looked at the people. Then at the burning buildings. She understood. Kane didn't want the ledger. He wanted Clara broken. She slowly stepped forward. "Fine." Samuel grabbed her arm. "No." Clara looked at him. "I know what I'm doing." She walked toward Kane. "I'll give you what you want." Kane smiled. "Smart girl. But first." Clara held up the ledger. You let the townspeople go. Kane laughed. You're not in a position to negotiate. Clara opened the ledger. Then perhaps you should look at page 1. Kane's smile disappeared. What did you find? Clara looked at Samuel. He nodded. She smiled. I found the one thing you were afraid of. Clara opened the ledger in front of everyone. The pages were filled with names and payments. But beneath the final list was a hidden document. Samuel explained. The original land agreement. Kane's face went pale. Clara held it up. This proves that Kane and his company never owned Black Creek. The townspeople began whispering. Kane shouted. She's lying. Clara looked at the crowd. Your homes were stolen. A farmer stepped forward. My ranch? Clara nodded. Yours. Another man asked. My family's land? Stolen. The crowd became angry. Kane raised his rifle. Silence. No one listened. Mercer stepped forward. For 20 years, this man controlled the town through fear. He looked at the ledger. Now we have proof. Kane fired. Mercer ducked. Samuel fired back. One of Kane's riders fell. The valley exploded into chaos. Samuel grabbed Clara. Run. They moved behind a stone wall as bullets tore through the air. Evelyn fired from the ridge. Mercer helped the townspeople escape. Kane's men began turning against each other. Some lowered their weapons. Others joined the townspeople. Kane looked around. His army was falling apart. He turned toward Clara. You did this. Clara stood behind the stone wall. No. She looked at the ledger. You did. Kane raised his rifle. Samuel stepped in front of Clara. Kane fired. Samuel fell. Father. Clara rushed toward him. Blood covered his black coat. Evelyn ran to him. Samuel. Samuel looked at Clara. Don't let him take the ledger. Clara looked toward Kane. He was running toward a waiting horse. She picked up a rifle. And followed. Kane rode toward the old mine. Clara mounted another horse. Mercer shouted. Clara. Don't go alone. She ignored him. She rode after Kane. The desert wind struck her face. The same desert where Kane had once buried her. The same land where her father had disappeared. This time, she wasn't afraid. Kane reached the abandoned Bell mine. He dismounted and entered. Clara followed. Inside, darkness surrounded her. She heard Kane's footsteps ahead. Then his voice echoed through the tunnels. You think you know your father? Clara continued walking. You don't know anything about him. He saved me. Kane laughed. Your father betrayed everyone. Clara stopped. You're lying. I told him to kill Evelyn. Clara's blood ran cold. What? He refused. Kane continued. So I made him disappear. Clara raised her rifle. Where was he all these years? Prison. Clara froze. What? Your father spent 15 years locked in a private prison. Who put him there? Kane smiled. I did. Clara's hands tightened around the rifle. You stole his life. And he stole mine. What does that mean? Kane turned. Your father had something before he joined the land company. Clara stared at him. What? A legal claim to the entire valley. Clara understood. The land? Kane nodded. Samuel discovered the original ownership documents. And you wanted them? Yes. Kane stepped closer. But he hid them. Where? Kane smiled. With you. Clara froze. The brass key? Kane nodded. That key was never for a door. Clara looked at it. It was a marker. Kane continued. Your father gave it to you because he knew you would eventually find the final document. Clara looked toward the mine wall. The symbol. The key. The map. Everything suddenly connected. She pressed the brass key against the stone symbol. A hidden compartment opened. Inside was a rolled parchment. Kane's eyes widened. The original land charter. Clara grabbed it. Kane raised his gun. Give it to me. No. You don't understand what you're holding. I understand perfectly. She unfolded the parchment. At the bottom was a name. Evelyn Bell. Kane's face changed. Clara looked at him. This land belongs to my mother. Kane slowly lowered his weapon. No. Clara smiled. And you're finished. Kane suddenly lunged toward Clara. She fired. The bullet struck his shoulder. He fell against the mine wall. Clara kept the rifle pointed at him. You killed innocent people. Kane laughed weakly. You think this changes anything? Yes. She held up the land charter. The truth is finally out. Kane looked at her. You'll never survive what comes next. What comes next? You think I'm the only one? Clara froze. What? Kane smiled. There are men in Washington who own pieces of this operation. Mercer entered the mine. Kane is telling the truth. Clara looked at him. What do you mean? Mercer held up another document. We found names in the bank records. He placed them beside the ledger. Judges. Senators. Bankers. Land commissioners. Clara's face became serious. This wasn't just Black Creek. No. Mercer shook his head. It goes across the territory. Evelyn entered the mine. Samuel was behind her. Clara ran toward him. Father. Samuel smiled weakly. You found it. Clara hugged him. You lied to me. I know. I hate you. Samuel smiled. I know that too. Clara pulled away. But you're alive. For now. Evelyn stood beside them. For 20 years, we ran from Kane. She looked at the ledger. Now we stop running. Samuel nodded. Kane tried to stand. Mercer pointed his revolver at him. You're under arrest. Kane laughed. You think a jail can hold me? Mercer smiled. No. He looked toward the mine entrance. The whole town is waiting outside. Kane's smile disappeared. They walked Kane out of the mine. Hundreds of townspeople stood in the valley. Some held rifles. Others held farming tools. They were no longer afraid. Clara walked behind Kane. The people recognized her. The woman who had been buried alive. The daughter of Samuel Bell. The daughter of Marcus Kane. The heir to the land. An elderly farmer stepped forward. Is it true? Clara nodded. Kane stole your land. The farmer looked at the burning town. Then what happens now? Clara looked at the land charter. We rebuild. The crowd became silent. Samuel stepped forward. I failed this town once. He looked at the people. I won't fail it again. Evelyn joined him. And neither will I. Kane was taken away. But before leaving, he looked back at Clara. You'll never know the whole truth. Clara answered. I know enough. Kane smiled. You'll come looking for the rest. Clara didn't reply. That night, the people of Black Creek began putting out the fires. The next morning, Clara stood on the hill overlooking the town. Samuel stood beside her. Evelyn was on her other side. Mercer approached. "We found something." He handed Clara a sealed envelope. "Where did this come from?" "Your father's old safe." Clara opened it. Inside was a photograph. It showed Samuel, Evelyn, and another man. Clara recognized him. He was the original owner of Black Creek. On the back was a handwritten message. The land was never the real secret. Clara looked at Samuel. "What does this mean?" Samuel's face went pale. Evelyn whispered. "We hoped you'd never find that." Clara looked between them. "What?" Samuel took the photograph. "The Black Creek Land Company wasn't created to steal land." "Then why?" Samuel stared toward the distant mountains. "It was created to hide something beneath the town." Clara's heart began pounding. "What is beneath Black Creek?" Samuel didn't answer. Suddenly, a deep rumbling sound came from beneath the ground. The earth shook. People in the town looked around in fear. A crack appeared across the main street. Then another. The ground beneath the old bank collapsed. A huge underground chamber was revealed. Inside was a massive iron door. On the door was the same symbol as Clara's brass key. Clara looked at the key. Then at her parents. Samuel whispered. "The final secret." Clara stepped toward the opening. For 5 episodes, she had been running from the truth. Now the truth was beneath her feet. She inserted the brass key into the iron door. The lock clicked. Clara slowly turned it. The door began to open. And from the darkness beneath Black Creek came a sound nobody expected. A child crying. Clara froze. Evelyn covered her mouth. Samuel stepped backward. Mercer raised his revolver. Clara whispered. "There's someone down there." The door opened wider. A small figure appeared in the darkness. And around the child's neck was a silver locket identical to the one Clara's mother had carried for 20 years. Clara stared in disbelief. Then the child spoke. "Are you Clara?" Clara couldn't answer. The child smiled. "My mother told me you'd come."